to Monopolised, the show that tackles the community's issues right from the chest.
That's right, take a chance with us as we face the companies and retailers head-on your behalf.
As always, we need to roll those all-important dice to find out where our consumer travels will be taking us today. This week our dice has landed on Starbuck Street, where we will be facing the issues of fair trade.
Last week, our dice took us to King's Cross Station and we were talking Network Rail and their so-called excellent train service. Since then, you've been letting us know about your problems and this is what they had to say.
Network Rail apologises to those affected by minor issues in the system. Although these experiences are a common occurrence in rail travel, Network Rail continues to provide an excellent service to the British public.
We weren't happy with this response, so we think we owe it to you to leave Network Rail in consumer jail. If, however, you find a large change in their service, just let us know and we can see if we can hand them that all-important get out of jail free card. More on this next week. Over to you, Steph.
Thank you, Katie. So here I am on this week's street and we are talking fair trade. How fair is it? Is it really fair to producers and manufacturers? Established in 1998, fair trade is an organised social movement.
It ensures that disadvantaged farmers in third world countries get a better deal by exporting to developed countries. London itself wants to become a full fair trade city by 2010.
However, in recent months, questions have come to light about the fairness of fair trade. Many independent coffee shops refuse to sell fair trade, and Monopolised is here to find out why.
Today, we'll be talking to Starbucks, a fair trade server, and an independent coffee shop in Lincoln, Coffee Aroma, who refuse to sell fair trade.
As always, we've got our consumer expert, Graham Meadows, to help us put fair trade to the test.
All right, Chester Community Jester here, telling jokes. Right, here's one for you. All right, there's a couple, right, and they're drinking coffee, right? And then the woman goes, oh, well, this tastes like dirt, right? And then the man goes, I am not surprised. It was ground this morning.
We want to hear from you. Do you have any fair trade questions that need answering? You can find our contact details on screen now. Call us, text us, email, even get on the webcam so you can join us face-to-face in the studio.
With fair trade in mind, Monopolised hit the streets of Lincoln to find out what they thought.
What are your views on fair trade products? I went to the streets of Britain to find out. So what do you think about fair trade products?
Well, I certainly think it should be encouraged, but there is a problem that some of the fair trade products, unfortunately, are not the right shape and size for people like Tesco, you know, so they're not too interested unless, you know, you get nice round tomatoes or straight bananas, you know.
It kind of costs a bit more, and obviously being in my, like, money situation, I'm kind of not really that fussed. I'd do it if it was, like, a pence more or, like, a couple of pence, but I wouldn't do it if it was like a quid, 2 quid more for like something that would only cost originally like bugger all.
I think it's good that the people who sort out the crops get a good fair wage. When you see a lot of stuff on TV how they're not getting the right wage, so it's nice to support them.
Interesting feedback there. But joining me now in the studio is Natalie, a Starbucks representative. Welcome, Natalie. So where exactly does Starbucks stand on the issue of fair trade?
Well, as a company, we feel we have a social and corporate responsibility to give back to the community and also the environment. We have in fact invested into serving fair trade coffee in all the cafes all over the country and all over the world.
That's pretty impressive.
We've been supporting fair trade now for the past 9 years, so it's something we have a strong passion for.
So in your opinion, what difference does fair trade make?
Well, it allows farmers who've previously got barely anything for their labour to get a fairer price for growing their coffee. This financially helps the community to become more independent.
We've had a question in from a viewer. If you'd like to turn your attention to this webcam over here that's been sent in.
I don't understand how Fairtrade can be fair if the farmers are selling so little. I'm sure that Starbucks does have good intentions, but I don't think this could ever be a realised dream.
As a company that sells only 3.7% of its coffee as a Fairtrade blend, where do you stand on this argument?
We are actually the largest purchaser of Fairtrade coffee. We spend around £40 million on it. We are trying our hardest to increase this year upon year as consumers are becoming more aware of its benefits. You can track our plans and progresses on the website.
This is starbucks.com, am I right in saying?
Yep, that's right, and there are links on there to find out anything you need to know about our plans.
Well, thank you, Natalie. That's one side of the story, but what is the other? We sent our resident correspondent, Joshua Roberts, into Coffee Aroma in Lincoln to find out more.
Well, as we've seen, Starbucks argues that Fairtrade products are fair, but why should we think anything otherwise? Well, I'm here in a very chilly Lincoln town centre to visit Coffee Aroma, an independently owned coffee store with a difference. It refuses to sell Fairtrade products. Why? Well, I'm here with Monopolised to find out. Now, Richard Teasdale, welcome to Monopolised.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I'm going to ask you a few questions about Fairtrade.
Sure.
Okay, now you run Coffee Aroma here in Lincoln. Why have you decided not to sell Fairtrade products?
The reason why we don't sell Fairtrade coffee is for a couple of reasons. First of all, the quality of the product itself is, in my opinion, not very good. It's good enough for the instant coffee market, but it's not good enough for the specialised coffee market. Fairtrade farmers have an incentive to produce as much as possible. They don't have an incentive to produce a high enough quality as possible. We buy all our coffee at auction, and we pay a significantly higher price, sometimes 10 times higher prices than Fairtrade prices. And the reason for that is we're bidding against other people in the world on a quality issue. So the highest bidder gets the best quality.
So would you say that Fairtrade products are fair to the workers?
Fairtrade itself, last year the prices of coffee were $1 a pound. Fairtrade prices were $1.25 a pound. The extra money that would have been generated from that would have actually gone to the workers themselves would have been pretty insignificant. The other problem is Fairtrade, they are tied to a contract, which means that last year the world market prices actually were higher than Fairtrade prices, so Fairtrade farmers got less than the market rates. What's fair?
So what kind of feedback have you heard from the public?
People are very cynical, I think, about Fairtrade coffee, certainly. I'm not an expert in other areas of Fairtrade. It may well be a good thing for other areas, but certainly as far as coffee is concerned, in my opinion, it's not very good.
And so what sort of advice would you give to consumers that are considering Fairtrade products?
As I say, I am no expert on other Fairtrade products, but as far as coffee is concerned, if you see a Fairtrade logo anywhere near a coffee shop, run a million miles.
Richard Teasdale, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, there we go. Fairtrade coffee maybe not as ethical as we once thought. Back to you in the studio. Cheers.